So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. Again, the purpose of this lecture series is very simple. You must have read 28th August 2024's newspaper. You must have covered that day's current events. Okay, you must have covered that day's news items, either by reading the newspaper or either by following our daily news in shorts lecture series. Okay, so you have covered that day's newspaper, but the purpose of this lecture series is that you get to revise your current affairs. And second, but more importantly, another purpose is that you get the much needed MCQ practice, which is very important for your prelims examination. Now, you don't have to do MCQ practice when your prelims examination is just 15 days or 30 days away. You should start right now. Doing 4 to 5 MCQs on a daily basis from now onwards, just 4 to 5 MCQs daily would amount to more than 1200 MCQs in 1 year. Okay? It might seem very less now because you are just covering 4 to 5 MCQs a day. 4 to 5 MCQs takes 10 minutes of your time if you are doing these 4 to 5 MCQs with me, okay? But 10 minutes on a daily basis would amount to a lot, many hours. And by the time you're ready for your next year's prelims examination, these 4 to 5 MCQs will add up, and amount to 1200 MCQs. And ask any serious aspirant who has given this exam once in their lifetime, they would tell you that 1200 MCQs from current affairs alone, not other static subjects like polity, history, geography. No, from current affairs alone are more than sufficient. You wouldn't have to worry about current affairs as far as your next year's prelims examination is concerned. But you can't wait that long. You don't have to prepare for prelims examination when that examination is just 2 months away. No, you have to start right now. And this lecture series would actually help you in that endeavor only. Okay? All right. So enough of the introduction. Let's straight away jump to question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding weather forecasting in India. It is the main job of Indian Meteorological Department, which is a government agency under Ministry of Science and Technology. IMD currently has the ability to forecast weather events over a 12 kilometer by 12 kilometer area. IMD was established in 1875 with its headquarters in Shimla then. Okay. How many of the above statements are correct? Now, as far as weather forecasting is concerned, it is done by Indian Meteorological Department. That's true. That I guess everyone knows. Okay. But do you know under which ministry IMD functions? So IMD functions under Ministry of Earth Sciences, not Science and Technology. Okay? Not Science and Technology, Ministry of Earth Sciences. So this is false. Now, as far as the ability to predict weather is concerned, IMD has a lot of expertise. There is no doubt about that. But IMD also wants to make its weather prediction more precise. Currently, IMD can predict weathers in this area, 12 kilometer by 12 kilometer area, 12 kilometer square area. Okay, but 12 kilometer square area is quite a lot. It's bigger than even middle area cities in India, small cities in India. 2 cities can also be encompassed in this area, or 1 city and various villages. Okay, so IMD may make a prediction of floods in this area, but that flood might occur only in urban areas and not in rural areas of this area. Okay, so IMD needs to make it more precise. So IMD is actually upgrading its observation network so that it actually has the ability to forecast weather events over an area of 3 kilometers square or 1 by 1 kilometers. Okay, so IMD is trying to do that, but currently it has expertise over this area. So this is correct. Now, IMD was established in 1875, absolutely correct. And back then, the capital of the colonial government was in Calcutta, right? So IMD was established in 1875 with its headquarters in Calcutta. In 1905, those headquarters were shifted to Shimla. And in 1944, those headquarters were shifted to New Delhi. So currently, IMD's headquarters are in New Delhi. But when it was established, its headquarters were in Calcutta, not Shimla. So this is false. Only one statement is correct. All right. Question number 2. Consider the following regarding GST Council. It is a constitutional body set up by President of India. Okay. All decisions in the council are passed after securing minimum 75% of vote weightage. Okay. Within GST Council, Centre has combined vote of 66%, while the rest lies with the states. Which of the above statements are correct? Now look, GST was introduced in India through a constitutional amendment act called 101st Constitutional Amendment Act. All right, makes sense. Now, this 101st Constitutional Amendment Act also inserted Article 279A of the Constitution, under which it was mentioned that President shall set up a body called GST Council, which will be the highest decision-making body with respect to GST. Okay. So GST Council is made under 279A of the Constitution, hence it's a constitutional body and it is set up by President. Correct. Now, all decisions in the council are taken after securing 75% of minimum votes. Okay. Now, GST Council has representatives from the center as well as states. Minimum 75% of votes are required to pass any decision in GST Council. This is correct. Now, the center has 1/3 vote in the GST Council, and all the states combined have 2/3 vote. So this amounts to 33%, and states' vote is around 66%, more or less, right? So this statement is false. Okay, center's vote is 66. No, it is 1/3, 33%. So A. All right. Question number 3. Consider the following statements regarding compensation cess levied on GST. Now, this cess is levied on almost all GST taxpayers for compensating states for any shortfall in revenue due to their shift towards GST regime. Okay. It was earlier planned till 2022, but now it will continue till March 2026. Which of the above statements is correct? Now, look. GST came into being in 2017. Now, for GST to come, 101st Constitutional Amendment Act was passed in 2016. But this was such a Constitutional Amendment Act that it required ratification of states also. 50% states of India's states had to ratify this. So states had to be brought on board for this Constitutional Amendment Act to be passed. Okay, GST wouldn't have come into the picture had states not given its support to it. Now, how to get state support? Now, states were not interested in bringing GST into India because they were afraid that they would lose out on their own tax revenue. States have their own taxation powers, had their own taxes. So states thought that with the coming of GST, they would lose on their own tax revenue. So center said that, okay, you might lose some tax revenue, you might gain some tax revenue. But if you lose tax revenue, we will compensate you for that shortfall. Okay, so once GST comes, if there is any shortfall in your with respect to your earlier tax revenue, if there is any shortfall, we will compensate for that. And where would the money come for that compensation? That money would come from compensation cess. So every time when someone pays GST, a compensation cess is also levied. The money collected from the cess goes to the compensation fund. And then each state is looked at by the center that which state is having a shortfall and which state isn't, and money is paid to those states. Okay, so the cess is levied on almost all GST taxpayers with some notable exceptions, but almost all GST taxpayers for compensating states for any shortfall in revenue due to their shift towards GST regime. Absolutely correct. Now, when GST came in 2017, this particular provision of collecting compensation cess was to expire in 2022. But because of the lockdown and because of other problems, GST Council in 2022 decided to extend this till March 2026. So this is correct. Okay, both statements are correct. C. All right. And last, which of the following is correct regarding humanoid skull by ISRO? It was designed by Inertial Systems Unit at Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. It was designed for Vyomitra humanoid aboard the Gaganyaan mission in 2025. The skull is made up of an aluminium alloy which is amenable with additive manufacturing. Okay. Now look, recently ISRO designed a humanoid skull. That skull would be that of a robot called Vyomitra, which would be aboard India's Gaganyaan mission in 2025. That is true. Okay. This skull is made up of a very lightweight alloy of aluminium called ALISI6, something like that. It is an aluminium alloy and it can be 3D printed or additive manufacturing can be done of it. This is also correct. Now, this skull was designed by Inertial Systems Unit, correct. But Inertial Systems Unit is part of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. And this VSSC is in Thiruvananthapuram. which is in Kerala. It is not Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. It is Vikram Bharat Sarabhai Space Center in Thiruvananthapuram. So, B. All right. And with that, we conclude today's session as well. I hope you enjoyed today's session, and I hope it added some value to your preparation. Though I don't hope. I know that it added value to your preparation, because if you have listened to this lecture carefully, and if you have been listening to all our lectures in this lecture series carefully, then it is definitely adding value to your preparation, and you'll realize that value when you'll sit for your prelims exam. So make sure you make this lecture series a part of your daily routine. All right? Okay. I'll be signing off now, and I'll see you next time with the MCQs from 29th August 2024. Thank you.